Welcome everyone to the first ever audio RoW. For those of you who don't know, RoW is basically Randomness of Wrestling, a blog I started out on my MySpace page, and I kind of want to branch out into the audio and eventually a video. The things I'm going to be talking about here are my Cyber Sunday picks, Batista, and some shit that's going down with WWE. Let's get right to it. Now, ahead of time, I want to apologize. I am learning how to use a new microphone, and I don't know if any of my voices or anything that I'm going to say is going to spike up in volume or not. I'm just learning how to use this thing, so just stick with me on that. The first thing I want to go to is the Cyber Sunday picks. I think it's a decent card in terms of action, but as with all Cyber Sundays or Cyber Tuesday, I think the whole thing is completely rigged, and the fact that you can't see the percentage of how many votes each match has been received, or whatever you want to put it, I think it's completely rigged, and every choice won't change the outcome, and nothing really excites me in this pay-per-view. The first match I want to get to is the United States Championship match. Now, I didn't know this match was on the pay-per-view card, and it turns out that it's a dark match before the pay-per-view, so really it's not on the pay-per-view itself. Anyway, the fans are able to vote to see who Shelton Benjamin faces against, MVP, R-Truth, or Festus. Now, Festus has little or no history with Shelton Benjamin, so I don't think he'll be voted for at all. MVP might be voted for, but the best chance will be R-Truth, especially since he's the only one who has a feud building up with Shelton Benjamin. Out of all three of these choices, I think the only one who has a chance of winning would be R-Truth. And if the other two are voted for, Shelton will end up winning the match and retaining the title. Then there's this one vote where you can vote for what tag team match will happen. It can either be Kofi Kingston and CM Punk versus Simply Priceless for the tag team titles, Crime Time versus Morrison and Miz, or Regal and Layla versus Noble and Mickie James. The best chance will be Kofi and Punk versus Simply Priceless, and if that match goes on, Kofi and Punk will win. Then it's Crime Time and Morrison and Miz. If that match happens, I believe Morrison and Miz will win. If Regal and Layla versus Noble and Mickie go up, Regal and Layla will win this match. That's just my opinion. I have no real facts on that. Now you have Kane versus Rey Mysterio Jr. In this match, you can either vote for a no-holds-barred match, false count anywhere match, or 2 out of 3 falls match. Now, out of all these, false count anywhere is the most unique, and it's pretty much the same thing as no-holds-barred, except you can pin anywhere in the building. And that's why I think that's going to be the match that's going to be voted for. In any of these cases, I think, and I hope, Rey Mysterio wins and finishes this feud because it was boring right from the start. Next we have the grudge match between The Undertaker and Big Show. Now, for this match you can vote for an I Quit match, a knockout match, or a last man standing match. Now, I have a feeling that the knockout match will be the one that's voted for, and if not that, then the last man standing match. If either of those two matches are voted for, I have a feeling that Big Show will win and this feud will continue, which is okay. But if the I Quit match is the one that's voted for, I think Undertaker will be the one to win. After all, he has that choke of his that he seems to be able to pull out of nowhere. And I don't think the banning of that move still holds today since he came back. I don't know. My personal pick, I'd have the I Quit match. Next we have is the Intercontinental Championship match. Now, Santino is going up against either Piper, Goldust, or Honky Tonk Man. I don't think this is a good match. It won't be a good match because all these men are past their primes, and I think it'd be a better choice to have Charlie Haas come in, and the vote being who you want Charlie Haas to parody. Now, I don't like Charlie Haas's gimmick where he parodies other wrestlers, but I think a Charlie versus Santino match would give the fans a lot more entertainment than Santino versus any of these three guys. I don't care who gets picked, but I know that Santino's going to win. It'd be bad business if any of the other three guys win the match and the title. I don't really consider the WWE ECW title as much of anything anymore. It really tarnishes the original ECW name, which I was a big fan of. But you know what? Some people like WWE ECW. I don't. I don't really care. For this match, you can vote who Matt Hardy faces against, either Mark Henry, Fit Finlay, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Evan Bourne. Personally, I pick Bourne. I would. I think he's a great talent. I think he has a future in this business. I don't know much about him, but I would pick Bourne. Out of all these men, Matt Hardy would win, no matter who's voted for. That's just my personal opinion. The next match is probably going to be the semi-decent match of the night. Chris Jericho is going up against Batista, with the fans being able to vote for either Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, or Randy Orton as his special enforcer. Now, out of all those men, Shawn Michaels is the most obvious pick and probably the best pick because he's the only one out of these three men who has an extensive history with all three guys, or between Jericho and Batista. In fact, it was Michaels' feud with Batista over Ric Flair that brought him to going up against Chris Jericho. So it basically comes into a full triangle or full circle or however you want to put it. I think Jericho's going to keep the title either by a pinfall or no contest. Something's going to happen. Jericho's going to keep the title at least until Royal Rumble. That's, again, my personal opinion. Last but not least, you have the WWE title match where Triple H can wrestle against either Jeff Hardy, Kozlov, or both Hardy and Kozlov. There's no doubt in my mind that it's going to be a triple threat match, and I really don't think Jeff Hardy's going to win it this time. I think Triple H is going to keep it, but what I hope to see is a result that's similar to the Undertaker Kane Stone Cold Steve Austin match in 1998, in which the title ends up becoming vacant. I hope something like that happens and we end up getting a tournament for Survivor Series. Yeah, it's a repeat of history, but I like tournaments. That's how I roll, I guess. If Jeff Hardy does win, cool, but I say Triple H is going to keep this title. These are just a brief of my opinions, so you can see or read all my opinions at www.myspace.com/gsgrendon. That's my MySpace page, and I will post a link here somewhere on this page. Just look for it. This is new phase that WWE is going for. Vince McMahon has actually said that instead of calling his wrestlers or superstars, which I have grown used to, he demands everyone to call them entertainers, and he wants to remove sports entertainment, or the sports from sports entertainment. He wants to really emphasize on the entertainment part because he wants to cut some taxes. But he doesn't get one thing. In order to be entertainment, it has to be entertaining. Now, I myself, the only people who I enjoy watching on SmackDown are Brian Kendrick, Kozlov, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP. Those are my top guys that I like to watch every week on SmackDown. But unfortunately, I can't watch SmackDown now because they moved to a different network, and I don't get that station. And unless I want to pay more money, I'm not going to get that station. I think that's unfair, I think that's uncool, but hey, that's how the business rolls, I guess. On Raw, the people I enjoy watching are Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, William Regal, and Crime Time. Those are the guys I like to watch on Raw, as well as Simply Priceless and a few other guys. That's pretty much all who I enjoy watching. Everything else just seems like complete bullshit to me. Santino is okay. Beth Phoenix, I think is awesome. But aside from that, I really can't think of anything off the top of my head. And where's Paul London? Why wasn't he in the Michaels and Jericho feud? I guess this is where I'm supposed to come up with a catchphrase to leave you guys out on, but I really don't have one planned right now. I'm not a guy for catchphrases, and since I'm the only one here, I can't really ask anybody else to do a catchphrase. So I guess the only thing I'll say to leave you guys off with is, fuck Batista.